Yes, Geordies, welcome back to another episode. The first thing I want to say, as always, I hope each and every single one of you as well. Second thing I want to say, I greatly appreciate every single one of you that interacts, likes, shares, and subscribed, watches my videos, because I know time is precious. And I just want to thank you all, because whatever you're doing is working. I've nearly reached that 8K mark. Now, it doesn't sound like many subscribers, but to me, it's everything. So if you haven't done already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Now, let's be honest, over this summer, we've had some fun episodes. I've thoroughly enjoyed interacting with you guys, making these videos. So we've spoken about players, we've spoken about youth players, we've spoken about the players we've signed, we've spoken about our squad, we've spoken about sporting directors, we've spoken about how Newcastle United can move forward, what we need to do in the transfer window. We've done all that, so we're going to have a fun video. But if all of you know me by now, you know I'm Mr. Positive, yeah? But every so often, I like to have a little bit of a rant. Today, I just want to rant for 1 minute, because apparently Newcastle United are getting blamed for German fans booing Nick Voldemorda. Now, hold on a minute. Why is it the media absolutely hate Newcastle United? No matter what we do, we make a signing and everybody hates it. Throughout the summer, everybody hated the fact we had one man at our club and we're forcing him to try and get a move to a different club. And I'm saying one man because I don't want to mention his name on this channel. But all summer, we've had negativity from the media. And now the same, because we're apparently, according to them, we overpaid for our new striker. That is the reason why German fans are booing him. What? This is nonsense. They're only booing him because the German manager misprofiled him. So how about you take some accountability and next time don't play him as a lone target striker, then you might actually get the best out of him. Like, no matter what we do, it's either a bad signing, we're overpaid, we're keeping players hostage. Like, no matter what we do, comes across as negative from the media. Like, this is what we're up against. And this is why I always say to Newcastle United fans, don't even read what the media say. I've stopped reading it. I've only pointed out this because somebody brought it to my attention. Like, let's just concentrate on ourselves, because that's how we get the best out of the club. So we do have an interesting video coming up today, because you're probably thinking, you've spoke about everything, Antonio. What is left to speak about? Now, at first, we're going to touch Chelsea. We're not going to spend too much time on Chelsea, but this is an example of what we're up against. And then we're going to talk about what David Hopkinson has had to say. And then I want to talk about the new stadium. Should we or shouldn't we go into this new stadium? And then I want to discuss why it's important to improve our youth facilities, making the most out of elite academies around the world, and some upside signings that are coming out of contract next summer. But there's only one place to start, because we have to start here, because the FA, not even the Premier League, have come out and charged Chelsea of 74 breaches of agent regulations. Now, what have I been telling you all about these agents? There's always a third party involved. There's always overspending. This goes on everywhere. I tell you all the time, agents are in discussion with clubs without the other club knowing. I know for a fact our old striker's agent would have been in discussion with Liverpool probably at the back end of last season without even Newcastle United having a clue. But Newcastle United probably knew, to be fair. But this is what I'm talking about. Little deals happen behind the scenes in football. Sometimes you get caught, sometimes you get away with it. Unfortunately, because Chelsea had to change ownership, they got caught in this instance. I've got a funny feeling if that ownership didn't happen, that takeover didn't happen, Chelsea would never be charged with these 74 breaches. Because there's loads of little deals that go on in football that we know nothing about. And I know it because I've seen it with these two eyeballs. So yeah, Chelsea are getting charged for pretty much, in simplistic terms, paying off agents for the Hazard deal, Willian deal, who were all very, very close to joining another club. So Chelsea probably said to them, we'll give you an extra 5 million if he comes to us, but just keep it on the lowdown. That is probably what's happened. Now, do I think Chelsea will get the book thrown at them? Absolutely not, because the new ownership have actually opened their books to the FA. So whatever the FA are asking for, the new owners are saying, yeah, it's got nothing to do with us, just help yourself. So because they're being compliant with the FA, when the FA ask for something or want to see an email or want to see their finances on their books, because they're being compliant, they're not going to get as much of a punishment if they're found guilty. But the reason why I'm mentioning this in this video, this is what we've got to compete against. When we're going to sign players, this is what we've been competing against. The fact that Chelsea Manchester City were able to grow their club without any PSR, but still went against and broke the rules. What do you think they're doing now that PSR is involved? This is what I'm saying. We've got to work smarter, not harder. How many times have I said we're going into a gunfight with a knife because the likes of Newcastle, Aston Villa are already up against it, against these bigger clubs? Now, I know this hasn't happened recently, but undoubtedly it's helped Chelsea get to the position they're in now, because just think what Eden Hazard brought to that club. So yeah, we've got work to do is what I'm saying. So if you haven't already and want to read what Ben Jacobs has said, is just pause the video now and just give it a read. I'll also put what the FA have said on there as well, but that's just a whole load of jubilar. Regulations J1 and C2. You'll not really, nobody will know what that means. So it did get us thinking about the new CEO and what Newcastle United can do moving forward to just try and grow the club, because that's what we need to do. We need to get our own house in order first before we look elsewhere. And the first thing is getting a new CEO in, which we've done, and then hearing from that CEO, because I actually like what he's had to say. Now, this is his full statement. I'm not going to read it all out to you, but there's little hints in there what I want to see moving forward. So what I want to see moving forward is a lot more communication between the CEO and the fan. Maybe a monthly meeting, maybe a meeting every fortnight, because Newcastle United are built on their connection with the fans. You can see that in every single stadium. We're very unique. We're not like other clubs. We're a one city club. You don't get that in London. So the fans have to be involved in the football club, in my opinion. We have to know to an extent, not every single detail, but what is happening, not on a daily basis, but just give us a monthly summarize of what's happening, what's went right, what's went wrong, what we're going to improve on. And I'm sure the fans would love to hear that. I actually think the CEO should employ like a designated person just to be involved with the fans, kind of like a club spokesman, because now he said these words, he needs to act upon the words, in my opinion. He said, I've gained invaluable insights and I'm looking forward to connecting and engaging with more of you in the weeks and months to come. So I want to see that engagement. I want to see that connection. Then he went on to say, my first impression, this is one united family. And that's what I'm talking about. It's not just about the football club. It's about the football club and the fans. And then he said, it's about the people who make this football club so special and privileged. So what I'm saying is involve those people. Then he went on to say, my aim is to build on a tremendous work that preceded me with a renewed sense of alignment for everyone. So when he's speaking about everyone, I'm hoping that he means the fans as well. Then he says, helping us grow and win together. I like these words. Can't lie about it. He's saying all the right things. Now I get it. He's only been in the job a couple of days. But what I'm saying is moving forward, I would like to see a little bit more interaction with the fans, because this is one of the most exciting times as Newcastle fans experience. Now there is a reason why I keep on banging this drum that there needs to be dialogue between the club and the fans, because I believe there is a script to how we succeed as businessmen, as human beings, and that is communication. The biggest form of respect is communication. So whether that be your businessman, a husband, wife, friendship, because the way I am told is treat people how you want to be treated. Think of that from a business logic. The fans are the life and soul of a football club. Your football club grows when the fans feel valued. You ever heard that terminology? Love your neighbors, love yourself. That is the terminology I'm trying to apply. Now think of that from a business perspective. If you don't treat your business partner well, or the fan base well, or somebody you're looking to do business well, if you don't treat them like you would treat yourself, nobody's going to want to do business with you. The reason why we fill out St. James's Park, or there's 100,000 fans looking to get tickets now that the Saudi owners have taken over, because they know they're going to get value. They know their value. So if you treat people with validation, that is going to be reciprocal, and it's a win-win situation. The fans win because they feel valued and they'll back the club even more, and the club win because they're getting more from the fans. So they're both in a win-win situation. So what I'm trying to say is, if you don't see the fans as clients and rather see them as business partners, there's only going to be two winners. There's no losers in that situation. And his words suggest, and I agree with them, we've got a phenomenal journey ahead of us. And what have I been saying to you guys? We actually have an incredible journey ahead of us, for the good and the bad. You take the bad with the good. There's undoubtedly going to be some moments where you think, I just want this to end. But that is all part of being a football fan. You've got to take the bad with the good. There's going to be moments where we play spectacularly on a football pitch, but lose that game of football. There's going to be moments where we play terribly on a football pitch, but win that game of football. So what I'm trying to say is, there's going to be ups and downs, both on and off the pitch, but it's about having that succession planning, but also that unity that we're all pulling in the right direction. And those are the words I want to hear from my CEO. I know Darren Eales was ill, and I understand that, and I wish him all the health in the world, but we didn't get that communication. That's what I want to see moving forward. So he was also asked previously to this interview about the new stadium, and he said respectfully, I can't really comment on that, which I understand because he's just come into the job. But I wanted to do an episode on the new stadium because I think this Barcelona game coming up has shown everybody there's a demand for a bigger seater stadium. We've got hundreds, thousands of fans missing out on tickets. Let me repeat that to you. We've got hundreds and thousands of fans missing out on tickets. And then to add to that, there's even more fans that didn't even bother getting in the ballot because they knew they weren't going to get a ticket. So the demand is there for us to either expand our stadium or build a new stadium. And look, I wanted to talk about building a new stadium. And don't get me wrong, right? I want to make this point clear. I am emotionally attached to St. James's Park. I think it is the nicest, the most atmospheric stadium in the world. Like I would sleep there if I could. I would live there if I could. I love going to St. James's Park. Even when you walk into the stadium, you can feel like the energy, the atmosphere of it. Just think about it. It's been there since 1982. Generations have passed through those turnstiles, and I think you get that emotional feeling, you get that connection when you walk into St. James's Park. Might just be me. I'm an emotional guy, but I feel that energy and I absolutely love it. And then the location of it. St. James's Park is positioned in the heart of the city. Not many cities can say they've got a football ground looking over all the beautiful architecture, but Newcastle United can. And then let's talk about the atmosphere. The atmosphere generated inside of that stadium is electric. And I'll go on record, and this is me not being biased, but it is one of the most intimidating venues in English football. And then I haven't even touched upon the legends, the memories in that stadium. Alan Shearer, Sir Bobby Robson. If I started listed them, I would be here forever. There's so many exceptional memories for you and me in our lifetime. And can I be honest, guys? Can't believe I'm going to say this, but holds about, well, just over 52,000. I think it's time to grow. If these owners in our club really wants to take that next step and grow to the next level, we'll have to either expand our stadium or move into a new stadium. In my opinion, we need a new stadium that exceeds at least 70,000 seats because the demand is there, and it's proven by this upcoming game of Barcelona. I'll repeat it again because Newcastle United fans are just the best. Over 100,000 Newcastle United members failed to get a ticket for Newcastle United against Barcelona. Now, I know there's been a little bit of backlash because we sent some tickets to a school in Dundee, but I don't want to waste my time speaking about that. So let's look at some positives about moving stadium. The most obvious one: increased capacity and revenue. More seats, more fans. So more fans will get the opportunity to go and see their football team play. But on top of that, you even have a wider scale of bringing in more tourists to come to St. James's Park, which also helps the economy of the city. So more seats, more fans results in a massive boost in ticket sales, merchandise sales, and matchday revenue. So when you think about it that way, over the past 3 years, Newcastle United have put up their ticket prices. If we expand our stadium or have more seats in the stadium, the prices might go up initially, but we might actually not have a price rise every single season because there's going to be more matchday revenue coming in. Because even if it is a 70,000, 80,000 seater stadium, Newcastle United fans will always fill that stadium. So what I'm saying, guys, is going to be more people coming into the city, so they'll be spending more money in and around the shops and bars around Newcastle United, and there'll be more people going into the stadium, which will result in more money for Newcastle United, and then that works against PSR. So it is a massive positive that we need to expand the stadium. I need to be honest, we need to either expand the stadium or move into a different stadium, because I've said this before, you need to do every single thing possible to compete against PSR. Now, you never know. If you're lucky, you might get a seat next to the Mango. I mean, that's one reason why we need a bigger stadium. Next point, state-of-the-art stadium, which just ultimately improves fans' experience. Just think of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Imagine something like that in Newcastle United. That grows fan bases, but also for away fans, they're going to fill out their away fans section, which ultimately pumps more money in Newcastle United. But let's look at it from a football perspective, because a state-of-the-art stadium shows intent and it helps you attract better top-tier talent. Footballers consider these things when they move in club. What is the stadium like? Do I want to play there? Is it modern? Is it new? All these things are taken in consideration when you move in stadium. Then there's also the technological side of it. State-of-the-art broadcasting facilities. TV deals will want to come to your stadium a lot more if it's more modern. Therefore, you show more on TV. Therefore, you generate more revenue. It's as simple as that. Then accessibility for fans, more efficiency for the inclusivity, and that is important. Now, my next point, I know we banter Tottenham for it, saying, oh, well, they've brought Beyonce instead of a trophy. I knew they were getting all that banter, but it's true. They bring in a lot of money by being a multi-purpose venue. You can host all different events, and the reason being is because, again, it brings in more revenue into the football club. So being a versatile venue just creates more revenue streams outside of football. So look, there are plenty of positives about moving stadium. Now, I know it's not just as easy as, oh, well, we've decided to move stadiums, so let's pack up and move. I understand that there's plenty of negotiations. You've got to get planning permission, everything like that. But I just want to see these talks happening. I want to know where we stand, because if news first broke over a year ago and we haven't heard anything since. So I want to know from you guys, because there has been a petition being signed from over 28,000 people that they did not want to move from St. James's Park. Now, I'm a person that likes to hear all points of view. I like to understand and appreciate other people's opinions. I haven't given you my opinion yet. I've just given you the pros of moving stadiums. But I want to hear your opinion. Would you want Newcastle United to move stadiums, or do you just want to expand St. James's Park? Because there's also benefits of just expanding St. James's Park. First one, sentimental factor. Fans are already emotionally attached. That energy I was talking about earlier is already being created. Secondly, it's financially cheaper. Expanding the current stadium is far cheaper than just building a new one. I know we've got wealthy owners, but it's a fact. And expanding it still provides that match day revenue boost, but also the accessibility for fans. Even just by expanding it, you can still create it into that multi-purpose venue. Okay, you might not be able to hold American football games, but you can definitely hold more concerts. So we've seen Tottenham, Arsenal, Everton, West Ham successfully move into a new stadium. Liverpool chose to expand Anfield. So I want to hear your thoughts. Would you prefer to move stadium, or would you prefer just to expand St. James's Park? I just think we have to do one or the other. The demand is there. The city's crying out for it. So yesterday I made a video talking about player care, the importance of player care. And no, I'm not talking about giving players massages, making sure they're okay. I'm talking about their contracts. More of a squad care. And what I mean by squad care is making sure you allow players to leave at peak times if you don't see a future for them at your club. Don't allow players to run down their contract. Open the contract negotiations when they've got 2 years left on the contract. Because if you get any indication that they don't want to sign a new deal, that's when you hold your hands up and say, it's time to go. Because by doing that, you're protecting your assets. You're literally protecting your investments. So if you want to go and check out that video, I will link it at the end. So today I thought, let's speak about the opposite. What I also want to say us do. Now, I'm not trying to throw too many eggs into one basket, but in the future down the line, I would like to see us improve our youth facilities, because I think people see this as a nice to have, or it's nice to have good youth facilities, but there's actually a strategic turnaround on investments with long-term success. Think about it. There's not a single negative about bringing through a youth talent from your academy or improving the facilities. Now, what I do like, since 2023-24 season, Newcastle have produced 5 academy debutants, which is a real big positive. But this goes without saying, guys. Developing players internally saves millions on transfer fees. So why do we need better youth facilities? Better youth facilities attracts top prospects from other academies. So that is number one. Number two, investments in your youth development, training facilities or academies are excluded from PSR, but it does help you compensate against PSR if you're clever. In an ideal situation, you have an academy graduate that comes through the academy, stays with the club throughout his career, and develops that relationship with the fans and the club. Now, what does that do? That means you don't need to spend, let's say you brought in a midfielder from your academy. Means you don't really need to go out and spend on a midfielder. So you're probably saving yourself 30 million already. Now, also, if you're ever in a situation where you're up against it with PSR, you can sell that player for 100% profit. So it saves you money, but it also gives you the option. Now, it's only an option to sell them for 100% profit. Now, the beauty about having a good academy is you'll be making money yearly, because not every academy prospect is going to be good enough for your first team. And sometimes it's all about timing. If you need a right back at that moment and he's at the right age and at the right development, then he can transition into the senior team. If you've already got 4 right backs and you don't really need one coming through your academy, and you don't want them just to sit in the under 21s for a little bit, then you can sell them for 100% profit. So you're always going to have that turn on investment, because the only thing these youth academy prospects really take from you is time and effort. But that time and effort is worth it when you're making a profit. But a good youth academy is just like a good stadium. The top talent of the youngsters will say, oh, I want to play there. That youth academy is excellent. If your youth academy is scrubby, there's no good food in it, there's rust, dust everywhere, there's damp on the walls. I'm literally explaining Old Trafford right here, but you can paint the picture in your head. Some academy prospects that we're trying to bring in from other clubs will look at that and say, not for me. So I literally want us to improve our academy facilities, because it's zero transfer fees that can be sold for millions at a time. So it can help you improve your senior team. Let's say you sell 4 academy prospects for up to 10 million. That allows you to buy someone for your senior team for about 10 to 15 million. So there's so many benefits of bringing through academy prospects, even if they don't reach your squad. And that got us thinking, another thing I want to see us do is keeping our eye out for academy prospects coming out of contract at other clubs. So I want us to take advantage of the elite academy players coming out of contract at their respected club, because there's so much untapped talent that won't get an opportunity at the elite clubs. Let's just take PSG, for example. Look at all the players that come out of their academy that didn't really get an opportunity at their first team. And that's just an example out of one academy, and I didn't even put them all down. So just think of all the elite academies around the world. Palmeiras, Independiente, Benfica, Ajax, Sporting CP, Barca, Madrid. You can sign these talents at 18, 19 and mold them into a player that fits your tactical structure. So I just think we need to be a little bit more clever in the transfer market. Yeah, but there's so many players that we could be bringing into our academy. I think we've already started signing a few 16 years old, which is pleasing. Do you know who the best are at signing young players for cheap? Brighton and the German club. One player I think we missed out on is Banzuzi. He signed for RB Leipzig for just 16 million euros. And then they signed Arthur Vermeeren from Atletico Madrid for 20 million euros. These are all players that we should be looking at. There's not many times you're going to have players with that ability, that potential available for just 20 million euros. Even if you look at Bayer Leverkusen signings, they signed Ibrahim Maza for just 20 million euros. They signed Axel Tate from PSG's academy on a free. That is prime example of what I'm trying to say. They signed Ernest Poku for just 10 million euros. You had Como signing Jaden Adai for just 10 million euros. These are all the players that we should be looking at, because these are massive upside signings. Why do you think we see it so often where a player just breaks out of nowhere from RB Leipzig or Eintracht Frankfurt? Suddenly a club's buying them for 60 million euros because they're super smart with their signings. Brighton do the exact same. They've just signed Tismas Stefanos, who's a Greek international. I think he's going to be an excellent signing for Brighton. They also signed Charalampos Kostoulas, if I got that right, from Olympiacos. Another top signing, just 18 years old. These are the types of players I want Newcastle United to try and sign. And there's some of them out of contract next summer. You look at Maha Carrizo, 19 years old from Vélez Sarsfield. He's been excellent since he come into the senior team. Rodriguinho, 21 years old at Sao Paulo. Thomas Alvarez at Inter Miami, 21 years old, proactive centre-back, aggressive. And then the most obvious one, Ryan Victor, 19 years old at Vasco da Gama. He's somebody we've been linked with in the past. Pace, acceleration, flair, creativity. He's got an eye for goal. He can play out wide. He can play as a striker. And then you've got Luca Netz at Mönchengladbach. Now, he hasn't hit the heights expected, but he's just 22. We've already got Lewis Hall. He doesn't necessarily need to come in as a starter. He can come in as an understudy to Lewis Hall and we can breed him through. Considering he'll be available on a free, it's a brilliant opportunity signing. Marc Bernal at Barcelona, 18 years old. He's already played his debut and he's one of those very intelligent, mature, well-rounded midfielders. So these are the types of signings I want Newcastle United to start making, as well as signing players like we have this summer. I think the age, the experience of Malik Chow is very sensible. He's 24. He's just going to get better, but he's got a vast amount of experience. Same with somebody like Anthony Elanga. He's 23. He's got Premier League experience. He's got European experience. I want us to continue making those signings, but also just make those signings where it's a low risk but high reward. So that's a direction I think we should be taking this club, only because PSR is literally blocking what we can do. So we need to maximize every single opportunity to push back against PSR. But I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts about Chelsea. If you think we should stop breaking the rules or bending the rules. I want to hear your thoughts about the stadium, the youth facilities, what signings you want to see us making. Because I've said this before. I love hearing your opinions. So before you go, don't forget to drop your opinion in the comments. But if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I already have a match preview out for Wolves, so I will link it at the end. And one last thing to say, away the lads.